video is sponsored by booktubers who put the tag questions in their descriptions. Y'all are the real MVPs. Do you love the new filming setup? Because I love the new filming setup as well. Because look at this, look at this. Not all of my videos are going to be from this setup just yet, but I'm really excited. Hello my lovely friends, it's Margaret, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Woo! Yeah, it's gonna be one of those days. So because I know people like this, I'm gonna open up a little bit with some stats. Because I'm lazy and didn't want to go through and get them out ahead of time, we're just gonna read them from the computer. So at the midway point, at the end of June, I had written 53 total books, and that came to 19,235 pages in all. My most read genre is fantasy at 40%, and then the second most read genre, it's a tie between mystery thrillers and graphic novels. Both of those are at 17%. Most of them are in the 300 to 399 page range and have been published in 2018. Interesting, interesting. My most prolific reading month was February, when I read 17 books. Anybody remember that wrap up? Because I sure do. According to this, I primarily read female authors, comes in at 77% so far this year of female authors, 18% male authors, 1.9% non-binary, and 1.9% both. So that is interesting. Also, the majority of the protagonist's gender is a pretty even split between female or an ensemble cast, both of those at like 40-something%, with male protagonists coming in at a measly 15%, poor guys. And then obviously, if you've been on my channel, you know I read mostly YA. I read 67% of the books, almost 68% of the books that I read have been YA, 20% of the books I've read have been adult, and 11% have been middle grade. That is it for the stats. Now, let's get into the questions. Am I going to spill tea? I don't know. This is the closest you will probably ever get to possibly a negative review. Alright, so question number 1 is the best book you've read so far. I am going to go with The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. It's a sci-fi, dystopian, fantasy novel. I was just blown away by how cleverly she crafted her world building, how cleverly she crafted her story. You've got 3 different narratives that she ends up bringing together so well and in such a satisfying way. In addition to that, part of this book is in second person, but it's written in such a way that you don't really, like, I was 50 pages in before I was like, oh, hey, this person's perspective is in second person. That's weird. And it was just more of a like, wow, I can't believe I didn't notice that. I really appreciated how accessible it felt to me. It is one of those that you have to kind of just go in and assume you aren't going to understand a lot until you get about halfway through the book. She doesn't just sit down and say, okay, here's everything you need to know. She weaves it in the story instead of giving you pages and pages and pages of info dump, which I really appreciate because I don't like sitting there for 4 pages reading about one thing that has very little to do with the plot. So like, you know those fantasy and sci-fi novels, the ones that they just go off on a tangent. This doesn't do that. I really, really appreciated that. The second question is the best sequel you've read this year. I don't know if I can necessarily say this is the best sequel, but it is my favorite sequel of the year, and that is The Wicked King by Holly Black. I'm pretty sure it's going to be bumped off of this pedestal by the next book that's coming out later this year, but we'll get to that. Anyways, I just really appreciated how Holly Black took this story and like ratcheted it up. It was so good. It was so angsty. It's like this great slow burn angsty mess that is going on, and you know it's like not an ideal situation, but you're still sitting there going, I'm enjoying this. I am enjoying the two of you absolutely destroying your lives. It was great. I loved it. So yes, I love the series. I love this book. It did not disappoint. I loved it possibly even more than the first one. So there's that. Question number 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet, but you want to, and we're gonna consult my YouTube for this because I know there are a whole bunch that I was supposed to have read and I haven't gotten to yet. Let's see. There we go. Most anticipated new releases. I even have a few of these on my shelves that I haven't read. Oh, wow. I am actually really impressed because I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. I've read 5 of these. Alright, so the first one that I'm going to talk about is The Vanishing Season by Hutchison. This is the last book in the Collector's series. I have been following this series I've been following this series since before it existed, honestly, because I've been following this author since we met back when I was in college. So I love her books. I've been rereading the series, and this, if you watched my most anticipated books of the year, this is one of my most anticipated books of the year. The other one was The Wicked King. I just love how she writes. I love the characters she creates. She has quite possibly created one of the best fictional characters ever in book 2 in Dashani Pravasti. They're just so good. I love her characters. They're hilarious. The dynamics between them are fantastic. Granted, these books are murder mystery thriller type books, so they're a little gory, a little bit triggering in a lot of ways. Just take care of yourself, because there's a lot of like abuse and sexual harassment and stuff like that that is confronted, is dealt with depending on the plot. So just, I don't know what all is in this one because I haven't read it yet, but I do need to read this, and I'm hopefully going to be reading it in August. The other book that I am really looking forward to and I really need to get to is There's Something About Sweetie by Sandhya Menon. I love this series so much. I loved When Dimples Met Rishi, which is the first book in this series. This is the companion to that. There's also a book, From Twinkle with Love, that like it's not connected to the first book or this book at all from what I can tell, but I still love it, and it's still like part of the series. I don't love that one quite as much as I love When Dimples Met Rishi, but I'm expecting to love this one even more because I do. Also, it's purple, and it would be really disappointing if I hated a purple book. Question number 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Without a doubt, like I didn't even have to consult anything for this. It is Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, because I'm a trash for that series and I cannot wait to see how it ends. I'm so ready for the series to be over, and I'm so glad that we get it early. Like, it was supposed to come out in January and now it's coming out in November, and that just makes me really excited. I'm so ready to see how this ridiculous, crazy, disturbing story ends. Question number 5 is, what was your biggest disappointment so far this year? I'm going to have to say Jane Unlimited by Kristen Kishore, and it's doubly disappointing because like somebody gifted it to me and they had really good things to say about it, and so I was really excited to see it, and I've heard other booktubers talk really well about it. It wasn't my kind of, like, the plot wasn't my kind of plot, because every time you got attached to the characters, we would leave off and go to someone else, and it just was driving me, like, it just drove me nuts. I feel like for people who enjoy Doctor Who-like plots, you are going to like this. If you don't necessarily need to be attached to the characters, I think you would like this book more than I did. But like, I like to have one character and follow them through all the craziness so that I can be attached to them and care about what is happening, because about halfway through I just stopped caring, because every single time I got to a point where I would care, it was like, oh no, we're going to start over. And I'm like, okay, I'm just done. The only reason I finished it was because I wanted to see what the crazy thing that, like, there's this big crazy premise thing going on. I wanted to see how that played out, and I don't even think all of it was solved. It just frustrated me. Question number 6 is, what was your biggest surprise? I have 2 answers for this. The first one is Lazaretto by Diane McKinney Whetstone. I read this for Blackathon back in February, and it was such a good story. It was another one of those that has multiple plot lines that are woven together really well, and you feel for the characters, and there are so many different cute love stories, and like it fulfilled a part of my soul that I did not know was needing fulfillment. I really enjoyed it. I was not expecting to. I just picked it up on a whim because I was focusing on reading mostly Black authors in February, and I needed an audiobook, and so I picked it up, and it ended up being one of my favorite books of the year. I guarantee you it will be on the top 10 list at the end of the year. I promise. Like, unless I read a lot of really good books in the second half of this year. The other one that I want to talk about is Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Not necessarily because this book was better than I thought it was going to be, but more because, I guess because it was better than I thought it would be, but like, for a book that was written in 1990, it actually treated its female characters pretty well. I've read books written much more recently that have not been so, like, kind to their female characters. Not necessarily what happens to them, because stuff goes down in this book, and everyone basically gets screwed, you know, as you do, as happens in epic fantasy, but like, they were fleshed out, they were well-rounded, they had their own goals outside of the main male protagonist. And so I really appreciated the fact that he had taken, like, you could tell the author was trying to be like, listen, I want to write women well and not just as, you know, Madonnas or whores. Like, I want to give you a little bit more to my female characters than just making them fit one dynamic or the other and only be there to, like, serve the male character. So that was something that I was very skeptical about reading this book, but my brother liked it, so I tried it out. There was room for improvement, yes, but it still was, all things considered, really, really ahead of its time, I felt. Question number 7 is your favorite new to you author. I'm gonna say Brittany Cavallaro because I read the entire Charlotte Holmes series this year and I absolutely adored it. It was so good. I apparently really like books that have murder at boarding schools. I did not realize this fact. It's probably Batman's fault. I just really love how she retold the Sherlock Holmes James Watson story. Like, I love that dynamic of a really serious crime fighter and kind of the person that's making sure that they don't absolutely destroy themselves. So, you know, like Batman and Robin, I like that dynamic. I like two people working together, solving crime, and playing against each other, and I just really liked how she did that with her characters. Question number 8 is your newest fictional crush. My newest fictional crush is the fictional crush I've had since I was in my early 20s. Probably, maybe even longer than that, because I really don't crush on fictional characters all that much anymore. Because I mostly read YA, and that's a little creepy to me. Like, honey, he's 16. Why would I be crushing on him? He has so much more growing to do. However, I mean, like, so I guess my fictional crush, the newest one I have is still Dick Grayson from, like, years ago. Question number 9 is your newest favorite character, and I am going to go with Ren Taylor from To Best the Boys. There was so much about Ren's character to love and adore. She was a very strong female character. She was well written, well balanced. She's very sciencey in a world where science is usually left to the boys. And it's just the way she goes about being like, well, I'm just gonna do what needs to be. Like, she doesn't even she doesn't even set on her path to try and, like, beat the boys, even though that's basically what she's having to do. She sets out on her path because it needs to be done, and so she's gonna do it. She wants this chance, and so she's going to go for it, regardless of who is going up against her. I really appreciate that. I really liked that. I thought she was a really well-written, strong female character because she had so many facets. She wasn't like the boom, bam, kick your butt type female character, which is what usually people think of when they think of a strong female character. She just had a lot of inner character, a lot of strength, and I really appreciated that. Question number 10 is a book, is that right? Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. I have a confession to make. I am secretly a robot, and therefore I never cry. I just don't. Okay, that's not true. I cry over, like, real life stuff, but I don't remember the last time. I don't think I've ever really cried over fiction. I've gotten tears in my eyes, a little watery-eyed, but I don't cry over stories and fictional characters. I just, you know, feel it in my soul and in my heart, but the tears don't actually come. I guess I'm crying on the inside, but I don't cry externally. Not over fictional stuff, and I know that's a failing in some people's eyes, but Question number 11 is a book that made you happy, and I am going to go with The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. This book has so just, on a craft level, it's amazing. I loved the ending. I loved the characters. Like, it was a love story to end all love stories. Like, I cannot wait until the movie is available on DVD and I can go see it because I just adored this story. It made me so happy. And look at how happy this cover is. It is such a freaking happy cover, which is fantastic because it is a purple book. Question number 12 is your favorite book to movie adaptation that you've seen this year. I can't think of any that I have seen this year. I haven't been going to a lot of movies. I've been trying to save money, and then the ones that I wanted to go to, I haven't gone to. Oops. Question number 13 is your favorite review that you have read or favorite video you've posted if you are a booktuber. Hold on. I am going to have to consult. I'm going to have to consult my library again. Okay, I have 2 videos that I want to talk about here. I think I'm either going to go with the first sentence challenge that I did with my brother, and we really had fun filming these tags. I had a little bit more fun doing this one than I did the blindfolded book challenge, because the blindfolded book challenge is like torture when you have siblings like my sibling is. He just wanted to make things the worst for me, and he succeeded. I failed miserably in both challenges, but at least in the first sentence challenge, I also got to torture him. The other one that I really want to talk about is the Diary of Meg Abbott video that I did for the Owls Readathon. I just had so much fun with that vlog, creating this character, and I think she might be making a reappearance from the news. I'm not entirely sure yet if that is going to happen, but I've just really enjoyed pretending to be someone else and using my dramatic roots. Question number 14 is, what is the most beautiful book you have purchased or received this year? I am going to have to shout out one of my faves, Renee Adia, because look at the covers that she gets. Like, they're amazing. They're gorgeous. And, like, these are so, look at this design. Like, I wish, this is the dream, guys. This is the dream, to get covers that are this pretty. Like, I didn't even bother getting, usually I try and get the hardcover because I like to be able to take my covers off and bang the book up a little bit and still have them look nice on my shelves. I didn't even like, I will say, the hardcover covers are pretty, but not like these, so I didn't even bother getting the hardcovers for these, although I do want to at some point. I just went and got all of these because I love them. I haven't read this one yet. Hopefully, it's as good as the cover looks. And the final question, question number 15 is, what books do you still need to read this year? Wow, guys, what books does Margaret still need to read this year? Well, I have a whole shelf of TBR books up back there. You can't see it, but all of these. Everything that is on this list, I'm supposed to be reading by the end of 2019. Yeah. Have we started on any of them? I got one. Okay, we've read Cinder. Okay, so there's one. Haven't read any of those. Haven't read any of those. Nope. Definitely no, but I am planning on starting that one soon. Nope. No. Let's see. Have we read? We have not. We have not. Wait. Oh, wait. Okay, so far 2. We've got 2 so far. That's fantastic. And, what is that? Okay, yeah. Of all of these, I've read 2 of them, so I need to read all of the rest of them. Let's see. Let's shout out some titles that I need to read. I need to start the entire Throne of Glass series, because apparently you need to do that. I'm planning on starting the Stalking Jack the Ripper series here very soon. I want to reread all of my Allie Carter books. Well, not all of them, because I just recently read these guys. But I want to reread all of my Gallagher Girl books and all of my Heist Society books. I want to reread Poison's Study, which is up there, and the Scorpio Races. Yeah, I want to reread the entire Bloodline series. I want to reread The Name of the Star so I can finish the series. I need to start the Diviners. I want to reread the Queen's Thief series and the Leviathan series. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I need to reread. I'm going to stop thinking about it because it's stressing me out. Okay, so that is it for me and the mid-year book freak out tack. That is all my look back on all of my reading from January to June of 2019. I need to do a whole lot more writing. I do need to do more writing too, but a whole lot more reading. Yeah. This is going to be so much fun. The good news is, like, all of the books that I still need to read for this year are books that I'm really looking forward to. And so I just probably need to be a little bit more, like, conscious of the choices I am making reading and being like, I need to read this book because it's on my list and I want to read it. I should do that. Will I? We'll see. That might not happen. Should be interesting. That is it for now, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button. I make videos 2 to 3 times a week about books and writing, and I would love to see your lovely face here on a regular basis. If you want more of me, all of my social medias will be linked down below in the description box. That is it for now, my friends. I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye! It would help if I could pull the video up. There we go. I should probably make these a readable font. So,